Okay, so I'm going to show you how to use the spreadsheet to do your calculations. And basically, I'm just going to show you, you can just create a new spreadsheet. This is, you can name it whatever you want. I've named mine WebQuest calculations. Um, in here, I've put down all my important formulas just to kind of remind me what I'm going to need to do in a minute here. And then you can see I made this table down in this area, in this, let's see, this area here. That's the table area. My formulas are all written up here, right? So basically in this table here, what I've got is first I put in the headings. These are all the headings for the information that I'm going to need. I'd recommend you pause the video at this point and put those headings in for yourself. For the US, all of the factors are 1 and our population density is 600. That represents the average size of the city we're considering expanding into. Um, and then I've selected London, and I received this information from the table, which let's see, table was in this document here. So from each of the tables, I just looked up those factors. So for London, the product popularity factor was, in the region of Western Northern Europe, and it was 1.2, and the disposable income factor was 1.5. So that's where the information came in that I put here, popularity 1.2, disposable income 1.5. And I just took the rest of that information directly out of the tables and filled it in. Now I'm going to show you how you'd make your calculations, right? We're doing formulas, and you've done formulas before, so this shouldn't be a big surprise. But basically what we're saying is the ratio is calculated, it's basically equal to the population density of the location we're considering divided by 600, okay? And the revenues are equal to, and if you remember that formula, it's right over here. Revenues are equal to the revenue factor, which is population or popularity times disposable income times $30,000 times this ratio. So it's equal to, let's indicate the popularity times, see I'm showing the cell, disposable incomes times the PD ratio times $30,000. Now here in the United States, I'll know if I got the formula right because it should just be $30,000, and it is. My expenses are just equal to, now my expense ratio is here, and it's labor times rent times tax times marketing times shipping. Those are my expense factors. Then I'm going to times it by 0.8 times my revenues. So in this case, it should be $24,000 when I get done, but I'm going to say it's equal to my labor factor times my rent factor times my tax factor times my marketing factor times my shipping factor times 0.8, okay, there we go, and that is times my revenues, right? This all depends upon my revenues, and I should get 24,000, and I did. My capital expenses, they are simply going to be using this formula. They're not dependent upon revenue. So here we go. These are my upfront expenses. That's equal to my regulatory times my business times my geopolitical risk times 1,500,000, okay, divided by 60, and that's the startup cost in a typical city, $1,500,000. And here is the number of months I'm going to amortize that over 60 months. That's 5 years. Means for the first 5 years I'm going to write off this expense. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and hit enter there, and you can see that I've got to make $25,000 a month to cover those capital expenses. And so obviously right now my profit potential is not great for these cities that are this small. And we'll take a look here, and the profit potential, remember, was equal to the revenues. So there's my revenues minus my ongoing expenses minus my capital expenses. When I hit enter, I can see it's not a good idea for me to expand into the United States and cities at this time. But now what I have to do is I need to go ahead and calculate down all of these other formulas. And I can do that by just grabbing the formulas down, stretching them down like this, Each one I grab that little blue dot and bring it down, and boy, it's got me losing a lot of money here. Now, why does that change? That should not. Oh yeah, well, it does change because of the geopolitical risk. So I am. I think I'm gonna have to. No, I think that's right. So basically, there's a lot of risk involved, and right now it looks as though I would not be recommending London. And it's primarily because of the risk and the expenses to my capital. So I would go ahead and complete this analysis this way, and till you can find, you want to make sure you do 2 locations and then make a recommendation. Should they expand in the United States or to one of the 2 places that you've located yourself? Go ahead and complete it now.